Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Well, the summer finished and I hope to be back with more regular videos now that things settle down into more regular routine. In this video, I would like to show you the importance and the difference between solving exercises and finding combinations in games, in your games when you play. Unfortunately, this happened to me twice in one game, and I have to admit it was a bit unfortunate because both times I think the the combinations I missed would have easily, if it existed, given me a brilliancy prize. As I keep explaining, you will notice that the difference between exercises and over the board games being that in exercises you actually have a hint. In a sense that you know that there is something there, whereas in a game, well, you don't. And actually strong players are strong for one reason, which is that they have this kind of antenna or a sixth sense, if you will, that something has changed in the position. There's something happening in the position, and this gives them that hint to look for something more deeply. And in this game, as you will see, I did have these hints, but the calculation and the evaluation turned out to be a bit more difficult for me that I could handle that day. So let's take a look at the position. Yeah, my opponent's last move was knight takes e4. He took a pawn on e4, and in this position, I very quickly, or relatively quickly, played short castle, which was my planned move. Because I quickly considered knight takes e4, queen takes e4, but now I immediately discarded it because the bishop is hanging and g2 is hanging. So I thought, okay, this is not good. Yeah. So I just castle, solve the problem, and that's it. And this is where my thoughts finished. This is what I concluded with this line. And then I just went to with short castle, which is a normal move, natural move, getting the king out of the center, out of the e file, and so on. However, had I been hinted, yeah, maybe I would have considered continuing the line here, yeah, and continuing the line with the move bishop d6, which somehow it passed through my mind, but on some semi-conscious level, because I said, okay, but bishop d6, it was some. Now that I remember it, it was some sort of semi-subconscious train of thought very quickly, in a sense that yes, I am preventing his castling, but how do I take advantage of it? He takes my bishop, and look, my knight is far away. Yeah, the bishop is there, but it doesn't look just that the bishop can do much damage alone. My queen is away, and didn't seem that there is enough compensation. However, when analyzing the game afterwards, to my surprise, I discovered that simply castling now, and it turns out that black is defenseless. Yeah? Not easy to see at first sight. Maybe I would not have understood this even if I put more effort into this line. I'm sorry, instead of short castle, rook c1 first, hitting the queen, and then when the queen goes to e4, now short castle. Yeah, this is more precise. Because rook e1 is coming, and then there are problems with the queen and the king. And it's winning. Yeah, it's just winning. So for example, a sample line, the queen moves away, queen g6, attacking the bishop. Yeah, not there, but there. Okay. But now bishop drops back to a3 all the way, still preventing castling. f5, knight d4, and everything is coming. Yeah, knight e6, rook e1, and so on. And black is defenseless. Again, not so easy to understand, to evaluate during a game, especially if you don't give it the proper attention and importance, yeah, that it deserves, this line deserves. So you see, it would have been a very nice combination, yeah, positional piece sacrifice for long-term compensation, which objectively leads to a winning position for white. So this was the first instance where I faltered. Now going back after knight e4, like I said, I discarded taking on e4 for the reasons I noted because of the double attack after queen e4. So I castled. Okay, my opponent castled, and now we are back to the normal game. And now here I spent some time because I needed to think how do I develop my pieces further. And after some thought, I came up with the move that I played in the game, which was the move queen c2. And I have to say I quite like the move. So let's put it on the board, queen c2, because I envisioned these ideas like rook a e1. Yeah, the rook is quite active there. f4 is an idea to open the other rook. Yeah, and also the sneaky maneuver bishop a2, bishop b1, trying to take advantage of this diagonal. So I was quite happy with the move queen c2. It looked kind of compact, cozy, harmonious. Yeah. However, there was a better one. Yeah, and again it involved taking that knight on e4, knight takes e4. And after queen takes e4, here I looked at the move bishop d3, yeah, which again makes sense because it activates the bishop on the b1 h7 diagonal. But after queen b4, I was struggling to find a good way to continue. And this is where I spent most of my time thinking. And again, I failed well, here black is more or less okay. Rook c1 is the best move. Yeah, but after b5, not taking the pawn on b2. For example, queen b2, bishop d6 is good for white because that pawn is definitely on d6 more important than the one on b2. Or let's say bishop b2, rook b1, yeah, pinning. And after queen a3, knight g3. And now the knight can get involved in the attack. Yeah, maybe even queen h5 and so on. So it's becoming dangerous for black. So not taking the pawn, but rather playing b5 with counterplay. But this, like I said, after queen b4, I didn't like it so much, and eventually I went for queen c2. However, instead of bishop d3, there was a better move, which was the move rook c1. I, again, briefly noticed it on some semi-conscious level, but I didn't give it too much attention. And the point is that, again, it's tricky. Yeah, it just appears like, why am I putting the rook on c1 just to let him take on b2 with tempo? Yeah, but again, the refutation here is bishop takes d6. Yeah. And after bishop c1, bishop d3 first. Bishop was attacked on c4, so bishop d3 attacking the queen first. And when the queen moves, queen g3, now knight g3. And again, this is not far from an easy line to see. Yeah, or again, first calculate, then evaluate. So it's tricky. Yeah. So again, for a second time, this was not the Brilliancy prize I mentioned, the second one. Yeah. But for a second time in the game, I failed to let's say properly calculate and then evaluate promising continuations. But okay, well, what I can say in my defense is that these were not easy, at least not for me during the game. So instead of that, I went for queen c2, but like I said, I was quite happy with this. Yeah. So knight takes c3, I took with the knight, opening the e-file. Yeah, because that was part of my plan. Rook e1 and activating the rook. Knight e5, rook a e1, following the plan, and queen c7. This is what he played. Normal move, getting the queen out of the e-file. But like I said, this was working for me because it just forced me to do what I wanted to do, bishop a2, intending bishop b1. And here I was quite content because all my pieces are well placed, and I managed to implement my plan, which I envisioned when I was playing queen c2. So I was quite happy. In this, I have to note that my opponent, an international master, played very fast. So in spite of having a unknown, non-theoretical position from early on, while I spent some time on my decisions, he actually wasn't spending any time on his decisions, so he was playing very, very quickly. And this kind of, I understood that fast play is a double-edged sword. On one side, it puts pressure on the opponent, forcing him to only spend his own time and eventually may end up in trouble. But on the other hand, fast play normally means that the moves are not very deep and the calculations are not very profound. So It can lead to some superficiality, and I understood that this is my chance that I could refute some of the moves that may not be well founded. And now we arrive at such a moment. He played the move b5 very, very quickly again. It looks logical. Yeah, the immediate threat is b4 and to win a piece because my queen is not defended. And I remember kind of not being entirely happy when seeing it, because I thought, okay, this guy's bothering me again. So b5 threatening b4. But I wasn't too concerned either, because bishop b1 was part of my plan. So I thought, okay, bishop b1, I defend the queen, threaten mate on h7, so b4 is diffused. However, here comes the second point in this game where I miss Brilliancy prize. And again, a bit unfortunate, because I saw actually the moves that were the introduction, yeah, to the combination. But my problem here was, again, dedicating enough time in the position that I'm about to show you, and understanding that it is actually winning. And this was the problematic part. So obviously I checked bishop e5. It's a typical sacrifice, especially after bishop takes e5, because d takes e5 I didn't really consider, because rook d1 looked promising. I obtain a very good passed pawn supported by the rook, and then I also have ideas like bishop b1, okay, and f5 is weakening, g4 can happen. So a lot of promising ideas to play with. So I mostly looked at bishop takes e5, which would be normal, and now rook takes e5, d takes e5, and d6. Yeah. I saw all this because the threat is queen g6 thanks to this pin, yeah, on the pawn on f7. So queen g6 is a threat, and after queen d6 I kind of stopped. I mean, I probably continued for one move, like let's say rook d1 or knight e4, just continuing with the attacking moves, forcing black to move the queen. But I remember looking at the position, okay, obviously in my head, and not being kind of convinced that this is that good. Yeah, it never crossed my mind that this may be winning. But for some reason I thought, okay, yeah, some initiative, but I didn't see anything concrete, and I just dropped it. And this was the problem, because had I actually spent more time in this position and, even more importantly, checked where black can move the queen, I would have understood that in fact the queen does not have good squares to go to. Yeah. So this was the mistake I made, which was to very quickly dismiss the position on some vague impressions that, okay, maybe it's enough, maybe it's not, and just drop it at that. But let's check the options, yeah? Where does the queen go? So, well, the queen must stay on the 6th rank, yeah, to prevent queen g6. But where does it go to? Can't go to e6, yeah, because the bishop is there. Can't go to c6, because again, bishop d5 wins material. It can go to b6, but that just allows knight d5. Yeah. And that leaves f6. Yeah, but now knight d5 with tempo again. Yeah. So it's not an immediate win, in a sense that I win material and that's it, I can conclude I'm getting a winning position. But it's more like a medium-term win, let's say. It's not even long-term, it's medium-term, because black can no longer defend for too long, yeah? So for example, queen g7, knight e7 check, king h8, and rook d6. And with all the pieces in the attack, white is winning. Yeah? Black can hardly move. So for example, there is the threat of, let's say, bishop f7, and rook f7, rook d8 check. Yeah, I can just show you that line. It's very nice. I'll just put an empty move, and let's say bishop f7, and if queen f7, rook h6, yes, and if rook f7, rook d8 check, rook f8, and now either immediately knight g6 or take on f8, yeah, queen f8 and knight g6, winning the queen and winning the game. So already it's crashing through. Whereas if the queen goes back to d6, yeah, now there is rook b1, bishop b1, threatening queen h7 mate, and after f5, knight c7. Yeah, the queen is hanging, the rook is hanging, and white is winning again. So what can I say? it's obvious that I didn't find the lines easy during the game, but like I said, I think the problem was not spending enough time, not checking on a move-by-move basis black's possibilities after rook d1 in this position. Yeah. So this was the problem, that I did not check where the queen could go, yeah, on a move-by-move basis patiently, and then I would have realized, okay, but black has no move here. So again, I wasn't prompted, I saw it, but I did not, like I said, spend enough time in the critical position to understand that actually it is winning. So in the game, I missed this second and last chance to win this game. I played bishop b1, and after f5, the position was unclear, and eventually, after some adventures, finished in a draw. So there you go. I think, well, a useful example from my recent practice, which, well, it would have been nicer if I could demonstrate you at least one of these combinations as if they happened in the game, but hopefully, you know, as they say, smart people learn from the mistakes of others. So I failed to take my chances in this game, but hopefully it was a useful learning experience for you to understand how it is during a game. You don't get hints. You have to develop this feeling that something has changed in the position, that there is something in the position, so you should look deeper. But even sometimes this isn't enough. Even when you look deeper, you must also be careful with your calculations, be precise with your calculations, check on a move-by-move basis what is happening, whether the opponent has good moves, it doesn't have good moves, and based on these calculations to make correct evaluations. So I'll conclude here. Please subscribe. I hope you liked this video. Subscribe. There will be more coming, obviously. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.